Like we, at the end, we all had tears in our eyes because it's, that is the future. We see that it is actually possible. And all those people who thought they were by themselves, kind of wanting to help, but didn't want to donate to Red Cross or to those associations or to donate blankets or something. They actually wanted to see the difference in somebody's life. And this is the first step into that new age of Aquarius, which is the kindness economy. Yeah, we're moving from paid workers to kindness economy, where we will interact and help personally instead of writing off a check or something like that. So we'll see how and why this is going to come about.
And
there are cosmic reasons for it.
Yeah, definitely. So there is, of course, the whole year has been a very special year because of the planetary alignments. And if you remember, we started this series, and this is interesting. I don't know that any of you has noticed in our announcement that this is supposed to be the last session of the big series. This is the episode number 33. And after this, so we have been doing this for 33 weeks now. We started on March 21st at that solstice, and then we are ending on December 21st, which is technical 22nd will be the solstice, which is the winter solstice. And we've been doing it for 9 months. Then we will be traveling a little bit and kind of going on the other side of this portal, and we will come back with something new and exciting for you guys. So we're not going to just disappear. We'll do something a little different than these things, but something fun is coming up. But when you talk about these planetary alignments, it has started, that the year doesn't start on January 1st. This is the most inauspicious day actually in a planetary cycle, and in a way it is a little bit of a hijack of everybody's energy to make any sort of wishes on January 1st, because nothing ever happens there. Everything goes into energetic hole during that time because there is nothing planetary happening. The actual beginning of New Year is March 21st, which is the beginning of it's a precise alignment with Sun and Earth. And this is when what is traditionally the first day of spring. But the reason is that then we have overcome, the days have started, are the same length as nights, and we are starting to have longer days than nights, yeah? So in a way, this archetypical struggle between darkness and light has won. In the middle of the winter cycle, when we are around December 31st, January 1st, we are way in a darkness. So whatever wishes that we are putting and energizing, any intentions, they are going towards the dark side, and it just goes into that never-ending pit. So we started at March 21st, and then this year was super interesting because we had something that very rarely happens. We have 2 planets, actually 3 planets, that were going more or less together, kind of dancing with each other. This is Pluto, Jupiter and Saturn. So Pluto is this big transformer of humanity. So wherever Pluto is, the big revolutions happen in that area of human activity. And now Pluto has been in Capricorn all this time, which is really about destroying and reconstructing everything that are government institutions, banking systems, big organized bureaucratic entities, and rules how we live lives. Yeah. So this is where.
Besides, Pluto has a special role to play in US, because it's the first Pluto return. That means it's there where the foundation fathers laid the constitution of US the first time. So US is experiencing the Pluto return, and it will last till 2023. So a complete reset of the country as it is.
So Pluto, it takes 250 years to go around the sun. So when you say Pluto return, it means it came around the sun and came to the same position where it was before. So it was there right about American Revolution, which we are seeing again. This revolution is much more modern. It doesn't happen with openly with weapons yet, but it is definitely happening on the level of weapons of today, which is information and computer systems, social networks, and those kinds of things, and of course banking. And then Jupiter and Saturn were in this dance as well. They were all kind of dancing together, going a little forward, a little backward. So if you remember around our T number 13, we were talking about Saturn starting to go retrograde, going backwards and coming back into this house of Capricorn, that house of... so it peaked into the house of Aquarius, which is the house of future, humanitarian outlook of the world, new technologies, and it came back into the old structures to kind of make sure that they are thoroughly cooked before we can explode into something better. So around July 2, July 4, we had Jupiter and Saturn coming back into this house of old structures so that everything that was old can be grounded and prepared for evolution. And then, so if you are familiar with these planets, Jupiter is a planet of expansion. Wherever it is, we expand with new possibilities, new energy, and new way of doing things. Creativity, like inner child reactivation and all that. And Saturn is the opposite: expansion, traditionalism, abiding by the rules, abiding by government rules. If they tell you to wear masks, you wear masks, because it's like, it's like fear-based, very contracting, giving my responsibility to outer structure planet. It's also the planet of old. So it's a planet of old things and lessons from the old and from the tradition. So these two, imagine that there were Jupiter and Saturn playing very close together. It means one is expansion, but at the same time one is contraction. So it's like adding the gas in a sports car while putting the handbrake full on. So this is the state of the world. It has been like this for all this time, trying to drive a race car with a handbrake on. So where we are now, and why this is such an interesting moment, is that finally both of those, brake and the expansion, are coming out of the area of the rules, banking, with limiting money and stuff like that, and going into
out of material world as we know it. Material world is consumerism, buying, security, pensions, saving up. So that is all the Capricorn thing. Being sure that you have enough, and you are responsible for having it enough, like you are responsible for yourself, and making your life happen. Usually by forcing, usually by insisting and doing things you don't want.
By discipline and outside of the actual coordination with natural cycles.
Yeah,
so
it's
by force.
Exhausting yourself to make things happen. That's the Capricorn ground on which, past 20 years for sure were happening.
So then I'll show you here on the chart what happens on the 21st. So on 21st of December, we are having this situation that both Jupiter and Saturn are exiting this house of those rules and coming both at 0 degree Aquarius. That means that we are finally getting out of this that Evia just explained, the having to be to control all the situation, not trusting anything unknown, and getting first into the Aquarius is the place of actually humanity first, and not me first, not bureaucracy first. Humanity first, and new technologies, like everything new, everything revolutionary, how it didn't used to be, something fresh and new.
So you can imagine those Jupiter and Saturn, they're like two hands of the clock, cosmic clock, because both are responsible for time, some sort of time and big cosmic periods in the universe. So imagine that clock with two hands, which is Jupiter and Saturn, they are meeting every 20 years. So they're meeting now. That means that you will have also your personal reset, something like was 20 years ago. So you can think back what did you reset 20 years ago, and you can look forward for some other reset right now. And now in the 0 degrees, it's like striking midnight, yeah? Except that the new way around the clock will no longer be in the Pisces. It will be in this Aquarius sign, in the air sign. So when we say it's an end of an era, Jupiter and Saturn are meeting every 20 years, but for last 200 years they were meeting in the same sign, So now finally they changed the sign, and it will be a new type of energy for the next 200 years.
And so we will have a little portal coming up on the 14th of December, between 14th of December and December 21st. So I'll show you another picture just to kind of give you the graphic representation of happening.
And Lisa is saying, but I'm just only learning to be selfish. So back to humanity and no more selfish. Well, actually, Lisa, it's even better than that, because it's service through self. Yeah. It's no longer a victim, because before the service was kind of victim Mother Teresa kind. I sacrifice. So in the Pisces energy, the service was a sacrifice. I sacrifice my life for my family. I sacrifice my happiness for my marriage. Now it's no longer about sacrifice, but it's the service through self. You'll do what you like to do best, and people will appreciate you for that. Yeah, so it's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. I love this that you have just learned to be selfish, but this is so difficult actually. It has been difficult for some of us to really have a courage to express who we really are. And especially what's happening now is where we are literally pushed to trust something outside of ourselves. But learning to be selfish means having courage to actually act in accordance to what is your best gift to the world.
Yeah.
And not somebody else's idea of what you should be doing or who you should be. So once that we hone that courage to say, well, this is my gift and I'm doing it no matter what, then the universe starts taking you seriously, because, they try to put all these brakes, all of those, branches in the spokes of your wheel so that you cannot do it. But when we persevere and continue doing it, maybe for 33 weeks or something like that, well, then it starts getting real. It's like, well, okay, these guys are serious. We're going to allow them to do it. And because we have no choice. And it boils back down to our free will. All of this that is happening is pretty much, we can call it black magic, that is designed to lower our free will and to kind of put us back into fear. And free will is pure expansion and pure childlike, amazement to the world, being so happy that we woke up this morning and there is sun out and there is this beautiful snow here in mountains, and where some of you are, it's like beautiful palm trees and oceans, and we can do anything we want with our lives. And that's our natural state. So
and you see that even this idea of daring to be selfish or live your life's purpose, it is not more than 20 years old. So when I'm saying that those cycles of Jupiter and Saturn are lasting 20 years, this is about the span of time where people started really taking seriously what they want, what they feel like. Before it was, kind of predefined way, like some sort of non-spoken standard how people would live. And within this last 20 years, even the idea of living for purpose or living by passion or living for a reason became possible and kind of gained momentum and power. So this selfishness is not only about, it's not ego centered, but it's putting your integrity, passion, and purpose first, and living exclusively out of those feelings. Fluidity of relationships, fluidity of interactions, fluidity to choose whom you want to speak and be with, and in simplicity, no more having to be somewhere and no more having to live 50 years of your life just because you have promised something somehow. And it will be generally more accepted and not pointed out as some sort of bad thing to do. Yeah. So this judgment also will fall off big time, because the new generation doesn't have that stiffness of judgment. So all those who were super into judging how things should be right are dying out, or they will just stop living because they're so afraid of any change. So then there will be no one to judge after all. So this all comes with time. And this wind of change, as to say, is unstoppable. So whoever wants to hold on to those Saturn ways of loyalty, judgment, you have to, you must, you promised, it will just not work. So better turn it around.
We can also kind of have a little fun observing how these all structures and all the systems are literally grappling to maintain that power that they had accumulated during the last 250 years. They're not going to give that up so easily, but we know upfront that it is not going to work. So we can kind of observe it with a little bit of a sense of humor and understanding that, it's like a video game. They are going all weapons on, and let's laugh at them a little bit. Okay, you keep trying. And we will keep trying to be our divine selves. So, and actually, at some point, what we will have to understand in order for whole humanity to raise up is that dark side that is operating on that side, on some level, exists in ourselves as well. So to find it where it is, as soon as we can, to understand on some level, if we are all one in the humanity, it means that every expression of every human is on some level in me as well. So where is it? Can I find it? And can I lovingly transmute it into the neutral energy so that it doesn't have to act in my life through this body, but not only for me. If I am able to transmute it and somebody else cannot, well, then we are actually helping the whole humanity, because we are able maybe to do something that others can't. So let's help them by transmuting those energies to us, for example.
Well, already remember the equanimity. It's a big thing. If you can be equanimous about what's happening and what's going on, and not take sides and not pull the blanket on one side how you think. This air sign will also be about ideas and thinking. So you can't evolve if you are stuck in one way thinking. It will be about possibility for many ideas to exist in one space, many possibilities and many ways of doing. So we're really being slapped out of that one way thinking into multi-channel thinking.
Yeah.
Because new technologies will come in, new possibilities will open. So we will have to think multidimensionally. It's no longer possible to stick to this earthly, simplistic way of looking at things where it's just black and white or this or that. It will be much more nuanced way of looking at everything there is. And we have to learn to integrate this nuanced way of looking at things, so that we don't feel this pull to take sides and defend our opinion at all costs.
It's interesting, in our course, Meet the Parents, we are coming up to this topic and we are sharing that if you have seen the movie Lucy is about this woman that is actually activating higher and higher percentage of her brain. She started with 10%, as all of us use only 10% of our brain capacity, and she activated more and more and more and more until she reached 100. At around 20%, she has understood something that we actually shared with our participants of Meet the Parents. She says, whatever are my preferences, whoever I thought I am, now I understand are only limitations. So whatever we identify ourselves with are our limitations, and it's great to get out of those preferences as soon as possible. Meditators and Buddhists call this equanimity. It's really observing from the side and not getting attached to anything at all, so that the full magic can happen in our lives and not just something that we have defined within what we are able to see.
Yeah, so this new period will be about fluidity in identity, and those who will refuse to integrate this fluidity in identity will be really, really suffering, because everything that we knew or learned or took for super stable information will change. Revelations, imagine if we learn that our human history is not what it was told, it can be very threatening to some people's identities. And it's better not to be very much attached to who you think you are. I think you guys are doing really well in that question. But in general, this being able to weave in and out of your identity, in and out of your preferences, is the ultimate freedom.
To load on the identity that is appropriate for the given role. You have one identity, for example, Luca playing the classical music. It's one identity in front of the public, being a performer. Then another identity could be with maybe Indian sage and meditating with them. But it's actually understanding that these identities are like pieces of garment. We can take them on and off.
And if the mask is not grown into our face, we can put it on and off at will, and that is where the freedom is truly perceived, because you don't have to be anything specific. At the same time, you can be anything you want to be. So that's the mood of
the moment.
Mood of what's going to come for the next 20 years for sure, but in the bigger picture for the next 200.
Exactly, Lisa. You're a woman, and sometimes you act as and everything else. So for now we look, okay, well, in this incarnation I happen to be in a male body. That's all I know. The rest can be improvised. Okay, that was a little bit long introduction, but that's what's happening on the sky. And just, I don't know if you saw this picture that I brought for you, how beautifully Saturn and Jupiter are dancing together, and they will completely merge on the 21st of December, literally on top of each other. So I want to open it up for you guys and to hear. I've got emails from some of you guys, and we have seen how strongly these energies are playing in some of your lives. So I wanted to see what are you noticing? What's going on in these few days, and how are you experiencing this energy that is shifting so strongly this time
Or
around.
what are the questions around these shifts or ways to be?
This session will be a lot about you and what are you stepping in. What will be on the other side of your door. So we have our scanning methods here. So we will look, whoever has a question, what is the topic for you guys. So let's hear from you guys. How are things going?
I can say.
Yes,
Yes.
Marek.
I don't know if I should do it in public, but I feel like I'm stuck in my head and I need to take MDMA or mushrooms or anything to get out of it. So I don't know if it correlates with what you said, but it's just like I feel this like I should even do it today. It's like really, I need that.
Thank you, Marek.
Yeah.
Absolutely correlates.
Well, it is spot on. This is exactly you resumed in one sentence the mood of this changing of eras, because this being stuck in the head and at the same time feeling that you need to get out of there. Never before in the history till now people were feeling that they need to get out of their heads. It was all about being in the head, being intellectual, being smart, being practical, being material. Where now this what you're feeling is the typical signature of Aquarius, where actually what you want is to forget everything you knew how to do, settle in the heart, and from there get to the next level of innovation. What you're feeling actually is innovation. Innovation is knocking at all doors. So, but we cannot.
I know that you are not big fans of mushrooms, but it's like what I love about them is just everything seems like you see it for the first time. It's like experiencing like a new, and it's amazing. And that's what I'm seeking. Just start experiencing everything in a different way.
Exactly.
Great, Marek. It's not that we don't like mushrooms. I personally like them. It is just the thing is, it's not reliable. That you have to rely on something outside of yourself to get you there. So that's the only problem with it. I know when that's the only door available, well, you take that door, yeah? But the longer term...
You don't have to take a lot of it. It just sometimes you just need like even 1/10 of a portion just to get the, how do you say it? Like, I forgot the word, but just like a little boost, just to go
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah,
It's-
exactly.
That's the big thing about, I understand, and I'm saying, yes, go for it, but observe what we want. Look, we have this amazingly perfect mechanism and system that we are inhabited. What mushrooms are doing for you, they are activating something in this system that you can activate yourself. And that's the thing. If you activate yourself, you are not incurring any debt. You're not having to pay back something. You're dealing with, when you're working with mushrooms, you're dealing with mushroom spirit. Mushroom spirit is not just coming and saying, I'm doing this service freely for you.
Mushroom spirit has the key, is holding the key. So that's it.
But you will have to pay it back.
Tomorrow I'm going on alpine ski touring, so maybe that will help.
Yeah. Well, really, Marek, this is great. This is this wind of change which is boiling within you for the new kind of innovative thinking. It's a new networking, new way of relating, new way of everything. So in order to get to access that new way, of course you have to have the eyes of the child and see from these building blocks, what can I build new? It's like suddenly you have authorization to fulfill your wildest dreams, and now it's possible. Because as of in 1 week, literally everybody will feel, I am feeling it already, after these last glitches in 1 week, this pressure will just drop, yeah? And more air will come. You'll feel like fresh air. Also these like virus things will take a different turn, and all this tight grip that was holding people really in super tension for so long will be released. It can't be any other way. So this seeing the world with new eyes is hyper important for everyone, however you get there, by meditating yourself into it, taking mushrooms, taking hot baths, going for vipassana. Anyway is welcome, as long as you can totally kind of really close the past way of thinking, because that will no longer serve. That's it. We don't have any need for that kind of thinking.
There is a question, and I just want to say hi to Anna, who just signed in from Egypt. So you guys arrived. Amazing.
Hi. We arrived. We are on the beautiful sunny terrace.
I see you smiling.
Let me show you this view. This is that view.
Fantastic.
Beautiful. Yes.
Here we will have, here is Mila.
Hey, Mila.
Happy Mila, and here we will have this view on the sunset, from our balcony, sunsets.
Great.
See? And here is the Red Sea, 26 degrees water. So after the session, we are going to dive full of corals,
Beautiful.
So here we are.
Well, that's a beautiful place where to
Wonderful.
meet the new Aquarius age.
Wonderful. Welcome to Egypt. So cool, actually, that you signed in immediately after arriving. Beautiful.
Yeah, we bought internet SIM cards at the airport because I really wanted to sign in from here and to see you from here. So great.
Beautiful.
Wonderful.
There is a question, and we see your hand, Anna and Hannah. You are coming to you right after. You're coming next. I wanted to address this question about. This is what you want to say?
Yes, for Marek, I hope your ski event will air you out enough so that you can really find that new outlook to life. And there are people here in the group that actually are doing these kind of experiences and maybe can help you. So if Eve or Anne feel like you have something to suggest Marek, contact him privately and give him some tips. But that depth for using the substances, it's a big question, and we always say there's nothing that you cannot do yourself. It's a matter of time or cultivating it. Of course, the substances give you instant access, but it's just a glimpse. You don't know how you get there. You don't know how to get there again. So it's a paper service. You do pay with your life force in exchange of the service. So that is to be taken in consideration. There's nothing bad about it. It's a way to get there. It's like encouraging preview, but you'll still have to do the work after that. Yeah.
If you want to see what this contract looks like, I suggest that you watch this movie Bedazzled. Bedazzled is the movie where there is a temporary. Well, there are traps to sign contract with the devil, so to speak. Signing contract with the devil means nothing so dramatic as it sounds in the words, and what it means is you are actually having a sign with a certain entity that has certain amount of consciousness, that they will provide service for you and you will repay them after you have left the physical body. So after you've left the physical body, then they are lined up with the bills.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what you have incurred as bills. What you would otherwise do if you haven't incurred, then it's called karma. If you haven't incurred those bills, then you would go directly into the place where you're contemplating your next incarnation. But if you have incurred those debts, well, first the banking agents are waiting for you so that you pay them those debts. And sometimes, if you don't know how you signed the contract, it can last for centuries what you have to do for them in that realm. So it really, in many ways, dying is the moment that is most significant moment of our lives, because this is when we are transitioning from the existence where we have part of consciousness in the body into the complete freedom from the body. And there the limitations of this physical world stop. But then we remember everything. Here in the body we have forgotten a lot of things. We have forgotten how things work outside of the body because we are lulled that reality only exists how my body perceives it. But it's so much faster. So when we talk about incurring the debt, all of the mushrooms have a mushroom spirit. Iboga and ayahuasca have the spirit of that has been accumulated through centuries of using it. So the shamans have interacted with it, and shamans have specific contract with these entities so that the experience is somewhat predictable or somewhat stirred in the way where the shaman wants it to go. But if you go into it without knowing anything, you're literally opening yourself up and saying, okay, well, I am now debilitated and I'm going to watch this movie, but what's happening while you watch the movie, there is energetic surgery going on you. And that energetic surgery is hooking the hooks that you are going to have to unhook later after when you're leaving the physical body. So it's very expensive service on the invisible side, but you can count on maybe, if you say, okay, I'm doing it once, like Marek says, well, I need to get out of this situation now, it's if an emergency, well, okay, you can do it once, but your longer term goal should be to really get to these places by yourself and with on your own devices.
The good news is that the age of Aquarius will actually bring in more understanding about frequencies. So I think in a very, very near future, we'll be able to have frequencies that reproduce something like those substances, and induce the state like brain waves into such a coherence that you'll be able to experience yourself without those limitations. And without any chemical substances. So that's what we're looking forward.
Mm-hmm. So we have Hannah and Anne's hand up.
And then Lisa.
And then Lisa. Mm-hmm.
It's been the strangest week ever. Like, just now watching the call, and my phone has this thing where it turns the brightness down. I just have to turn the color and the light back up again. And that's how it felt the whole last week. Like right now I'm in this bright phase and I don't know how this is possible even to reach, because I had one full week of depression, of not wanting to be on this planet, of grief, of accepting that my dad is passed and talking with a few people, which I refused to do for a year, of my sister flaring up at me because I wanted some resolution with some people and she kind of wouldn't allow it, and I had to listen to 1 hour of her calling me names for doing that. And it's been just the strangest combination of, I don't know, electric going out, and I don't even know anymore how to put it all together into one picture. Like, I can't decide where I want to live, so I'm floating around in time and space, and it's like no decision can be taken, and I don't know how much is just resistance or how much is being truthful as we're entering a new time and energy of the planet. I don't know what's your things on all of this.
Yeah, well, you guys are
Thank you, Hannah.
on a special life-changing, life-altering path, and
just look at you.
And
you look so beautiful.
You're both in this in the boat that takes you out of your deepest stucknesses. Yeah. So it is definitely a part of the process, because when we go deep, this is how you know that things are actually shifting. When you feel these extreme emotions, you know that you're touching something, and you'll come on the other side with complete renewal of your identity. And for you, Hannah, it's especially important because, you're Aquarius. So for whom more the reset than for you? For you, Isabel, and who else is Aquarius in this picture? And Jill.
Jill,
So
yes.
you Aquarius guys, you're really having your personal super reset, and now it will be your time to shine. But in order to shine in this new quality, you really need every bit of old thinking out. Every bit of it. So for you, Hannah, we know what that ancestor line is holding as as a frame in place. So the stuckness, darkness, and being dimmed or depressed is only lowering your frequency to the level where you can resolve things. When you're in a high frequency, you can't act on those dark places because you're not in vibrational match with them. So sometimes, when you want to take out the dirt from the bottom of the pond, well, you have to dive to that bottom of the pond. There's no other way. You cannot skim it from the surface. So that's why events and things, when you really need to do the deep work, they bring you down in frequency, down to the level at which you can unplug the stuckness so that you can come to the surface again. Yeah, so it's part of the digging deep. But we will get through it. I told you, I promise, tomorrow.
Yeah. Don't worry. And sometimes what's important is to understand, it doesn't feel like you know what to do at this moment. Well, you just float to it. You float with that wave. You don't try to kind of swim on purpose against it, because just let it, trust that the universe is taking you to an amazing direction. It's...
And a little bit like Jill saying, okay, so I go in the stuckness and see how it looks. Well, you guys, when you feel down, really look around and see, okay, so what can I do from this space? What is there that I can clean out? It's like you're entering a dark room and saying, okay, I'm here. Let's see how can I, what is here for me to learn. And once the lesson has been done, there's no reason to stay there.
And Ty, you're right. Your sun is in 11th house, which means that you are, in a way, half Aquarius yourself. Because that's Aquarius house for me as well. I have 6 planets in the 11th house. So, like on the surface, I'm supposed to be Gemini, but this abundance in 11th house is also like Aquarian. So we are all Aquarius is here, agents for this new time that is coming, for whom the new is the norm. Like we just cannot do things the old way. It's just so boring. We cannot repeat. We find the formula that we keep repeating. It doesn't work. For us, the old thing, it's always something new. That's normal.
What else is cool about this upcoming time is that everybody who was called weirdo, out there, different, extravagant, out of the box, well, guys, this is your time. So now all the out of the box people will be able to say to look at the boxed in ones, because this is the wheel turns. This different opportunity will provide the right setting for everyone who has been weird or having extravagant ideas, and they will not feel so extravagant. They'll be normal. Yeah.
Who is going to share next?
So Lisa, you had a question.
I don't know if I so much had a question or just because you've got, just whatever I say, I just want you to call me on my bullshit. But So I had my beautiful lion cup that I bought for witches and wizards, and I lost my cup. But I lost my cup after I found this.
Oh, the bird cup. Kiwi.
Ah.
Ah,
Isn't that beautiful?
yeah. Wonderful.
They're all.
And Lisa, this is metal, right? Or ceramics?
No, it's ceramic.
Okay.
Oh no, sorry, metal.
Yeah, I thought because of that top that it's metal. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well,
It's like a camping cup.
but you know,
I had been
no, I just wanted to say that
Yeah.
it makes sense because, you know, we know you're a lion kind of personality that was
Maybe.
actively, you know, actively being in material world and, you know, fighting for things. Yeah, let's say it as it is, fighting for things and asserting and all that. So embodying all the lion qualities. But what the birds coming instead, it's you know, you don't have to fight for anything. You don't like it here, you take off and you go to another place. You pair up with birds that are like you know, that speak the same language. So you don't have to fight to establish. The lions establish their territory by being the strongest ones in the group. Yeah, they live in a pack.
Well, it's not so much about the cup, but it was like the loss of the cup, without even realizing I lost my cup, was like the start of this chain of events of really cool shit that happened. I mean, cool things that happened. And so in New Zealand, they have New Zealand jade, like a greenstone, and you're not allowed to, if you see it in a creek, you're not allowed to touch it. And the tradition is that you're only allowed greenstone if it's gifted to you. I met this dude and I was whinging to him about it. And the following morning, he came to I was at a campsite. He came to the campsite and he had a greenstone that he found. It was really, really cool. So off, setting off. And it was like, wow, these good things were coming. And then making the decision literally at a T intersection to go left or right. And I went right. And then I kept going right for several hundred kilometers. I don't know that I should be this far right.
Lisa, I thought you were left.
That night, in a massive storm, I had my awning out and my awning broke everywhere. And it was like, oh, I don't think I should have really gone that far right. I think my gut saying to me, no, you don't need to be that far right. But this whole leading up to what I find is a really beautiful time. It's like, it was my birthday this week one day, and my mum called me, and she and I last spoke having a fight. And she rang and she said, I tried to email you and it kept on bouncing back, so I had to call you. And I was like, thanks, universe. Because I've been saying 3 days before, outwardly to her, okay, Helen, please love me, please love me, please love me. So she was forced to talk to me, and it was excellent. So it's these, like you were saying, at these points of the thinky head, and being put in that position where if you haven't learnt your lesson from the previous learnings, it will keep presenting to you, and it's beautiful sitting in a lesson right now that I'm looking at from above, learning the lesson of like no compromise. It's very interesting. So were you doing your thing then, Evia? Was all that bullshit or not?
But that's what I told you from the beginning, you know, the birds versus lion. Lion is fighting for things, yeah, and the bird is sitting up and looking at things from up to down, and free in the movement, and there's much more lightness, you know, about it. So it's very symbolic. I don't think you would have identified yourself with a birdie to begin with, right? But
I love my birds. Yeah.
but you know, this is this whole symbolics of leaving the heaviness, territory, identity, the established tribe that you're born in behind. Yeah, we're going. This fluidity in identity means that we no longer belong to a nationality. You see with the whole virus how this nationality somehow became so important. Nationals of this country can enter that country. So the last attempts of these old ages is to put us back in our nationalities and decide which nationality can go to which country. And it feels so awful, it feels completely off. So
But even further than that, like he's saying, I've been really debating people with the analogy that people are loving be the lion and don't be the sheep. And I started with, why not be the sheep? Sheep are really cool.
yeah, we lost you.
Yeah. Your sound froze, Lisa.
And
Not have the sheep frightened by me being the sheep I am, and not being a lion, which I find, people that are lions, it's like they're lazy, they're scavengers. Like, why do you want to be a lion?
wow.
It's like this. Be the lion, don't
Okay,
Great, Lisa.
so
We didn't hear some of what you said because of
the whole lion thing
but,
actually was cropped out because we didn't hear your sound. That means
But,
no more lion.
what's important about all this is not holding judgments about any of these. All of these archetypes, like lion and that Leo, is just a word that reminds us of what this path of awakening is through kind of knowing the energies of lion, of Leo. But all of those archetypes have the so-called positive and negative expressions of themselves, and they can all be expressed in a selfish way or in an altruistic way, depending on where we are in our frequency. But for you personally, losing the lion and getting the birds, which is the air sign of Aquarius that is coming, is very much saying abandon your identity and open up. So lion is much about myself, like how your first comment when we started, and Aquarius is more about everyone else, about humanity.
Yeah, but
So-
myself as a part of everyone else. Yeah.
So not
Unlike the Pisces, there's just everyone else. Yeah, no, it's myself with everyone else. Me, myself, and the rest of the world.
yeah,
Together.
me, we, yeah, like that, me, we. Yeah, but beautiful signs, Lisa.
Yeah, so a little bit about how the birds represent this new way of networking. It will be a peer-to-peer networking and groups, literally like groups of birds flying together from place to place, migrating and keeping each other in check, but while being free to move.
Yeah, that's
This is the flavor of how the new communities will be established, like migrating birds.
Yeah, if you remember, actually, the documentary Winged Migration, that's where we can see them up front. So these birds fly in a formation, but there is one that temporarily flies at the front that cuts the air for everyone else to kind of use already cut air, so they don't have to spend so much energy. And then after a while, they change around. So it's not, Gene Keys call it from hierarchy to heterarchy. So heterarchy is the role of the group of people based on their true gifts and not assigned roles.
Or from pyramid to circle. That's the way. Lion society is a pyramid. There's the main lion, the second main lion, and so on. Birds. I guess it's more of a circle.
They cannot help it because they cannot survive otherwise.
There's not the top bird.
And by the way, also we have new cups. The gold cups.
So
Who was next? What did you say?
Sylvia.
Sylvia. Did we skip someone? You said someone.
No, I think it's
No?
the
Okay. Sylvia.
Thank you, guys.
Mm-hmm.
This has been an amazing week. So firstly, some of you who know us, you know that we've been like in this process of migrating to Europe and Dave having his European passport and whatever. So the passport is in Jakarta and it just needs to be posted to the Australian address, and then we have his passport. And then we were thinking, oh my God, so when are we going to Europe, or how is it going to happen? And of course, waiting, I'm realizing, is making you kind of feeling comfortable that, yeah, this thing is going to happen sometimes in the near nebulous future, but don't really know when. And then you realize that, oh my God, this is like becoming reality. And of course, excitement and joy came up, and also like lots of other stuff. So we've been like kind of clearing that lots of other stuff that is all related to how you describe Saturn and what Saturn is responsible for. That, oh my God, we need to have this said, that said. How can I go from Indonesia to there? And so all these things. So that was one. So it was interesting to see that how we both got amazingly excited, but also in the same time that Jesus Christ, how are we going to make this happen? And somehow it just felt so clearly to say that, listen, wait until 21st of December, let us clear patterns, let us sit with this. You know, we don't have to make decisions right now. If we go to Europe in March, we go to Europe in March. It's okay. We just need to be on this flow of clearing patterns, and let's clear patterns. So that was like really clear. And on that same day, I had a client, and the message that came through for this client was exactly the same, that don't do anything, don't make huge decisions, just let's work on these patterns and to just clear them. So that was really awesome. The other big thing, which is also quite structural, those of you who know me since longer time know that I'm doing what I'm doing and I really love doing it, but I could never really put a business structure around it. So I'm just basically having these wonderful teas and tarot card readings with people, and they pay me, and they keep offering me, and I'm just like word of mouth kind of having a really sweet life, and I'm feeling very fulfilled. And today just like really kind of sinked in that how amazing it is to know so many people in so deep level, and being able to hold space and love each other. And anyway, it was all beautiful. And then one of my clients is sending me a message that her book got published, and I thought, wow, this is amazing, congratulations. And she said, well, you are in the book. And I thought, huh? She said, well, there are chapters about you in this book. And I thought, what? And I thought, this is really interesting, you know, I'm kind of like, I'm not saying hiding, but I'm feeling this absolute, you know, this like a hermit, really. People, I mean, I'm even my place, some of you know, it's kind of, I'm not saying it's like a cave, but it can be like a cave. If you look at it, it's kind of semi-underground. So I'm really living like a hermit. And suddenly I'm in a book which is just published, and she writes about me. And of course, her perception on me. So that doesn't have to be me. It's a part of me that I can put this. It's a part of me, and I'm sure she wrote really good stuff about me because we have this really beautiful connection, and we've been doing awesome work. And I'm thinking, oh, suddenly in a book, you know, and who knows how many people are going to read this book. And it's like, oh, I'm not in a cave anymore, or I'm kind of in, but still. So that's what's really interesting, how this whole world is just suddenly opening up, and I'm very excited. Whatever is coming, I'm just feeling like, like really moved, deeply moved emotionally, physically. I'm feeling my face is changing, my body is changing. So yeah, I'm really excited about this new stuff. And at last but not least, I have another client whom we've been kind of traveling since years, and she, I don't even know how to say it, but the last reading was like amazingly deep and really revealing about how her life has been actually shaped by secret societies without her knowing it. She used to be a Broadway dancer, like really professionally, big time, and had no clue about this effect of her work or anything, but it came up so clearly. And I really felt that, I'm not saying that I'm here to this, you know, to uncover these societies. There are much greater people who have more knowledge, but I really felt that that's also part of what I'm here to do. As I'm stepping out from my cave, it almost feels like that I'm also bringing some light. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you, Celia. Check, just to double check, what is the title of the book? So
It
that
might
you know if
have
she's
some
writing well.
significant-
It's The Strangest People of Ubud.
She's not in Bali. She's not
Okay.
in Bali. And I haven't asked the title.
Yeah, double check so that you know that you're not part of some sort of spoof, you know. I'm kidding, but
It didn't even cross my mind.
yeah, they're like the weirdos that I met in my life, you know. So, yeah. So,
Avoid that woman.
yeah, exactly. Ah, great.
Well, you know that passport thing. We know that you've been like around that passport question for years, yeah. So, passport is the official official kind of permission to move and to live somewhere else. So that being almost there is very significant, of course, and it will be again. It's completely in the topic of Aquarius that before you.
It won't even be needed by the time we go.
Ye-
Maybe it doesn't even need it.
Yeah, who knows?
It
But
would be funny.
But that passport, why it took so long? Because it's all about those unresolved roots and personal histories and ancestor lines. So guys, like whoever has entangled personal history, this is the time. Like really, it's now. It's now, and all this beautiful future will not be able to manifest in our lives until we clear the every bit of our personal history lines. That is super, super important. And those who are with us on the course, you have seen what a consequence it is to have those ancestors acting through us, yeah. And this time has been designed for it. So it's been the easiest ever to clear out our personal past. So use this opportunity, go for it, clean your caves and basements and attics, so that all this new thing we're talking about will manifest sooner. Nothing happens overnight, of course, so it's not like you'll wake up on the 22nd of December feeling and opening the door and the new world is there, lit in a divine light and shining, and everybody is nice and smiling. It takes time, you know. It's the whole period till 2043, but you know, it seems like a long time, but think back, year 2000 was just yesterday, you know. So time goes by fast, and the more we consciously clear out the past entanglements, the sooner we can start thinking in that new way. The setting is there. We'll have to inhabit it by bringing ourselves to that level. So great for you. It's just happening. You've done your homework.
Mm-hmm. And it always helps to also think about future incarnations too. So the more work that we do in this one, the less we will have to do in the next one. So it's very helpful to give this wider context so that we don't get attached to this particular incarnation. This also helps with eliminated fear, because you know, we ultimately don't have to care what happens to this particular vessel or body, because, you know, we'll just continue and get another one later on.
Yeah. So the confusion will be more and more extreme, because we will have no established guidelines and we'll have to figure it all by ourselves. So alongside of clearing the ethics and sellers, you might really want to find your reliable source of decision making and enthusiasm, and basically the only way to navigate these next upcoming times will be, you can't plan, you can't foresee, you cannot be sure, like this is not an option. You can only do the next right thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So one step at a time, literally.
Yeah, you do the next right thing and then repeat it. From the next step, you do the next right thing.
Mm-hmm.
This is the only manual to navigate the new energies.
That also speaks a little bit, Sylvia, to your question about how we're going to ever get to Europe with all these complications. Well, you'll get there one step at a time. And it's just kind of walking with that certainty that it goes in the right way.
Yeah, well, exactly. All Aquariuses have been working with this during your current life, preparing for it. Preparing and being different, being called odd or not fitting really in. And what Aquariuses need to heal from is from this artificial need to fit in. Yeah, because you'll be the readiest ones, because you are built for this next time. So you will need to be really free from need of recognition or need of external validation, need of fitting in, need of being accepted, because the world will match you. So Anna is singing there. The world will match you. You will not need to fit in. The world will fit around you. So the only thing is, what's needed is to take off those structures that help you survive so far in the world that was not adapted to you.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly what I'm working on every day at the moment.
Yeah.
Letting this go and not have the feeling that I have to fit in.
Exactly. Yeah. So you'll not need to fit in anymore.
It's like this feeling that you have to almost apologize to the world for who you are, right? Kind of like that.
Yeah, exactly. And being quiet about what I see or what I feel or what my thoughts are. I'm being quiet about that to just fit in with others.
Yeah. Well, that's gonna really change. This is because what is happening, you see, this whole 2020 was a huge earthquake in everybody's perception of reality. So everybody is already shaken down in the core of certainties. Yeah. So everybody who could say, like when my daughter was doing the online school, I can't tell you the number of people that were saying, oh my God, she's missing out on socializing people. They were so against it. And now we're like, talk. Online schooling was bad. Okay, here you go, guys. And, you know, everybody has been shaken in those certainties about life, how it should be. So this is a great opportunity to refresh everybody's minds about it. And we're here to really use this opportunity, and now our message will be heard because those big boxes have been cracked around the heads.
That's actually really interesting. Now more than ever, if you look outside what's happening, you see how there is that reality is really, it can be absolutely different between two people who stand next to each other on the street, because it's all about how we perceive it. But this was not easy to explain before, because that agreement around what reality is was more or less compatible. Now, with everything that is happening, there is almost no agreement about what reality we are inhabiting between large groups of people. This is a great opportunity to understand how reality is formed, and to understand that you form your reality. If you haven't read a week of Facebook posts about something that somebody is reporting on that we don't even have a way to check whether it's true or not, we might completely not even be affected by the information that has been served. So if
All
we
we see is a
understand that,
beautiful view.
and all there is a beautiful view, and we think, okay, so somebody is preparing and trying to kind of like poke us with something, and you know, like include some micro robots and stuff like that. Well, that's the reality that has been served. But what's important is to understand you form your reality. You have always done it, Jill, before, but you had to comply with what was mostly agreed upon. Well, not anymore, because now you will have this full dedication to your own reality and let the world snap to it. Because whoever is around you will snap onto that frequency that you are carrying by reality that you create daily, how you see and perceive the world. When Evia says that now that helmet has cracked, it's great that now we see how it works. Now we see that it's not one thing that is monolithic. Each one of us in this screen have their own reality, and we share part of it. So it will be super important to insist on your reality and to daily create it every morning, to specify to the universe what your reality is. We have shared many times our reality creating prayer that we use every morning, but now more than ever it's super important to create your own reality, because alternative reality is trying to be projected on you through
I have an
whoever
example for that.
through whoever is making so-called news, which none of it is reality.
So in my opinion, the main difference between how we will operate in these next 200 years from how we were operating now, it was like the life till now had a sort of established stream, and you were trying to catch up with the stream and fit in and run along the crowd without understanding the rules and you know, without even liking it. But it had this continuous stream where you have to really exhaust yourself to run in the same pace and do the same thing as everyone else, because it was set in a very narrow limitation. What is going to change is that instead of running and exhausting yourself, going along as everybody else, this individuation will be coming. The world will actually give you opportunity to be who you want to be. So your only job is to cultivate passion, integrity, and purpose, and wait for that opportunity to arise. So instead of running constantly, you'll be sitting in your little somewhere cultivating passion, integrity, and purpose, and waiting for someone to come and pick you up because you're really cool and would you like to journey with them. Or you would set on your own journey with your passion and purpose, and you'll pick up someone on the way. And, you know, it will be this more random individual realities existing at the same time rather than one mainstream reality that everybody needs to fit
To
in.
comply
Yeah.
with, yes.
So that's how you can think about it.
Can I say
just
something?
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, I've noticed this last year that people around me are starting to, as they went away 30 years ago, and now they're starting to come back and are interested in the things that the way I see life, and they're also starting to wake up themselves, just by themselves, really, and it's very interesting.
Yeah.
And it feels great, actually.
Well,
Really great.
that is the power of planets, you know. This is how that energy is beaming on everyone and breaking the veils, want it or not. Yeah, and the global frequency rising, of course, helps.
But at this moment, you see, now they're coming to you. And it's just super important not to try to comply anymore. Let the right people come to you by the reality that you create for you. Through all the experiences that you have lived up till this point.
Yes. It's great times now, I think. I feel great about this time.
Yeah.
It's great.
We're up for next level thinking, so this is really to keep in mind, next level thinking.
Lisa, you wanted to share?
Oh, it's just
There you go. Our internet went down.
after experiencing some really beautiful people with this amazing young French girl who's crying, and she's right on to everything, and she said the world is shit. I was just, what? Have a look around. This is one of the most beautiful bays in New Zealand, one of the most stunning countries on the planet, and here is this incredibly beautiful girl who could not.
Did you?
From around her, it was really interesting. It's with Gil saying, you know, her friends are coming back to her awake. It's with people going through that angriness of being awake and needing, like you're saying, Evia and Victor, to be reminded, you know, every day of doing your meditation and your prayer. And it's like, this girl just had to breathe. And I had said to her, just breathe and have a look to how important it is to be, like you're saying, present from moment to moment to moment. Because if you're not like that, you will be like that French girl who is like, the world is shit. So that's all.
A great reminder, Lisa. How does she know that world is shit? But probably she read it on social media. And it's important to understand every post. You know, now we scroll them and we see dozens at a time. But every post lodges itself into your subconscious. And every post is one of the rung on the ladders of life that we are climbing. So if we can clear that and actually allow our guides, you know, and our spiritual connections to be those rung of the ladders, we will have what really reality, experienced reality is for us. The only reality is the reality that we do experience. The reality that we have read about is complete hallucination. It has nothing real about it. So thank you for that reminder. She thinks that the world is shit. Well, I'm sorry for her. She will probably have to switch off her social media. Who wanted that? Yes, Uwe.
Actually, also, there is a browser extension. You can download a browser extension. It's called Newsfeed Eradicator for Facebook. So you can eradicate actually the newsfeed. And I think this fits very well in our what we are talking right now, that we have different perceptions about reality. We have different realities. I really like that. It's a really cool topic, and I'm very happy for the inputs. It's really, really cool. So Newsfeed Eradicator for Facebook.
Thank you, Uwe, for saying that. It actually ties in with what Marek said. Newsfeed Eradicator is the same as taking mushrooms. So you can eradicate it yourself by actually skipping over them if you want to. But if you want to take the help from outside, well, there is a plugin for that. But even better would be you don't even go there if you don't want. And David's question about inner shadow and external shadows, you will not avoid the external shadows by not logging into the Facebook. If you log, you can choose to do it, but if you actually meditate, you will feel all of that energy anyway. So you have much more fine Facebook inside of your system than the one that is served to you. The one that is served to you is actually framing everything in this area. This area is this, like the head. But what you would feel if you tune into what is the external shadow, you can feel it with your whole body and how it really is, not how somebody wrote about it. So that's the difference. You can choose, of course, you can choose both. But what actually happens is you are, without understanding, knowing, being slowly fed pieces of that kind of shaped reality without even knowing. If you have such control over yourself that it's not influencing you, by all means, spend all day on Facebook. You will not be affected at all. But it might not be the case yet.
Well, we always say check in with your body and look around you. Like when you feel that the world is coming to an end, look at your body. Are you fit? Are you healthy? Are you here? Are you warm? Did you eat today? Well, then it's not the end of the world. So always double check. And I think more and more there's nothing wrong on being on those things or reading about those things if you have discernment. If you have discernment, and you can always, I read all kinds of conspiracies or like super out there, realistic, believable, just to, I'm curious. I'm really curious. I don't want to sit with my just view out of the window perception. But the discernment comes whether you give importance or not to what you have seen or read. And when you check how well are you doing right here in where you're sitting right now, this is your ultimate reality. This says what is or is not present in your life. So if you're sitting and churning like Hannah, feeling low and down, yes, in her world, in her reality, she's in the shadow. So she's going to deal with it. If you, David, are sitting and kind of feeling chill, you're not in a shadow. So that's for next day or next week. So enjoy the moment without shadow. So we don't have to call in any shadows, or we don't have to avoid them. We just deal with what comes to us one step at a time. If you have a foot in a problem, well, that's what it is, and you deal with it then. If you have a lucky, happy day, don't forget to enjoy it. Yeah. And like this we go, and really without avoiding anything or like trying to solve things up front, we just deal with what comes right then.
And Uwe, if you would share the name of that plugin anyway, so that everybody has it. If you would just write a little name on it in the chat.
So for the first, good question, Tai. So 21st of December is the summer solstice in this in your hemisphere, Australians and New Zealanders, and winter solstice over here. And solstices are big cosmic appointments because for the beings that are outside of the time, they only have these cosmic portals to join with the earth plane. So this is a day, or let's say 3 days of all possibilities of upgrade of consciousness, releases, new intentions, everything you want. So you might want to be mindful around those dates, and really get your intentions clear. What it is that you want, given all these informations, what it is that you feel for yourself for this upcoming year, 20 years, 200 years, this change of the era. How could you be your best self, and are you ready to be wired for magic that's waiting right there? Are you ready? Like, are you totally ready to step into magic no matter what, without knowing, like in our title picture that we posted, are you ready to accept that the path will rise under your foot when you will make the step? So this is a very important question for 21st of December, to check your levels of trust in life and trust in yourself. And of course, if you can do a ritual around it, that's even better, to confirm your intention out loud.
Yeah, ritual would be great. Yeah, yes, Lisa, the portals are 3 days, 1 day before, 1 day after, and during. So you don't have to be on that date particularly, but it's the window of 3 days. If you want to do a little ritual, well, write the set of intentions that you have. And write what is the new world for you. And then add the ritual itself. Make sure that you initialize this new view. And that you will not, almost like it is a new constitution.
And Uwe has a beautiful idea. Yes, it would be fantastic to have an online ritual all together on 21. Joining all these dots on Earth in one screen, it would be fantastic. And we can provide the energetic background so that your wishes go straight into the heart of the universe. And it's a beautiful idea. We will we will think about it. Thank you, Uwe, for idea. Yes. Because the importance of changing the mindset is such that to embrace this next level thinking, we need to somehow state it. We need to state it that we are ready for it. And if we do it all together, it will be a powerful boost for everyone.
So we have to state it, and then we have to outpower the reality that's coming from outside. So we outpower it by our own reality. So for doing that is we have to think about it as much and more than what we will receive from the outside, from the Facebook and everywhere else. So we have to outpower. So think about it more moments during the day than what you think about other things during the day.
And Uwe, your question comes very appropriately from you, who is all about communities and networking like that, because this is literally practically starting the age of Aquarius, which is from, let's say, what can I own to what can we create together. That's the difference. Yeah. And from virtual isolation, okay, I'm hermit being here and now, to community building and community building around the groups of interest. So literally joining and jumping into the portal all together is the first most appropriate step to embrace this community of like-minded, like-hearted people. So we definitely I think would like to do that.
Yeah, great idea.
Great, yes, good to hear. That sounds really, really good.
Great, Jill, that you will be with Mary, powerful shaman. I met her. We actually were together in the shamanic journeys with her. So beautiful timing to get together with her and go through that journey together. Wonderful.
And Castle Rock, Lisa, yes, it's a big yes for Castle Rock. There's something special there.
Mm-hmm. Christiane, great having you. So if you have to leave, that's of course fine.
Yeah. So things are happening, guys, you know.
Ty wants to ask
One way or the other, you cannot be in the wrong place in the wrong moment. We're all doing our little bits and parts of the journey, and more relaxed we're about the flow, you know, the easier it kind of rolls forward.
Ty.
Hello everyone, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
we can.
Yes, I just wanted to share a little bit, and it's really interesting what you guys are saying, and actually I'm very grateful for all these 33 meetings. It's been like a very wonderful journey, and I realized that this year I just went to this hermit mode, like I was really into my cave, and I realized that it was kind of a pattern that I was following, and I decided that okay, I cannot live like this, you know, and during this year, and I think it started after our meetings, after you guys started the meetings, I decided to, you know, okay, I'm gonna do whenever I can, and I started yoga courses and tantric courses and therapy and Shakti groups and all these kind of things and meditation. And I even joined the Sadhguru engineering.
Cool.
Very wonderful as well. I loved it. And yeah, I wanted to thank you both because it's been so special for me. It's like a pleasure to be here every Saturday, and you always bring something new and enlightening somehow, and it's really really interesting because it always kind of blends well with my week. If you're talking about balance, during the next week they're going to talk about balance in my other classes, and you know, it's so naturally synchronized and so elevated everything you bring here. So I'm very thankful, and yeah, it's been a very tough year of how can I say, digging, as Elvie said, that I feel like I was digging all the time and trying to find things, and I have this feeling like this is beautiful. You guys were sharing, and I had tears in my eyes just imagining this shift, and I feel like this year was kind of a preparation for this what is about to come. I feel like I'm not ready yet. I feel like I'm still hiding, and you know, with all this sabotage structure I built around myself and this kind of thing, but somehow yeah, I think, you know, when you see a glimpse of light, and it's like, okay, I think we can transform together. I thank you both for this and everyone here participating and, you know, somehow helping. I think it's been really beautiful to have this journey with you all. It's a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank you, Ty.
Thank you.
Thank you for this beautiful sharing. It really means a lot that we hear that it's meaningful for you guys. So great. Thank you.
Yeah, and so the resonance between people, you know, every week there's a different set of people, but ultimately we're just talking to ourselves, you know. We're magnetized to whoever can voice out what's going out in our lives. We're also voicing it out for ourselves, and that finds resonance in you. So this is the new way of communicating and problem solving in the age of Aquarius, where we will no longer dwell in therapies. We will no longer, like psychotherapy, I think, will be banned forever because it's not working.
It doesn't have to be banned. It's just obsolete.
It will fall apart as a useless thing of the past, because how we will evolve is healing through meeting someone for a coffee, being held in a group somewhere somehow. So we will no longer dwell, like we've done it, that's it. It stops here. We've done it for ourselves, and we've created a field where for everyone else it will be so much more easier. And revelations will just pop in out of nowhere. Plus the frequencies and everything will make it so much easier. So yeah, thank you.
Did I see a couple more hands who wanted to share? David?
Oh yeah, it's been a while. didn't appear on video. Nice to see you again. Something really resonated with me earlier, so when you shared about it's a great moment to basically do a karmic reset. So I think you said something along the lines of that. I wanted to share because I actually am supposed, and I started to talk to my parents. I wanted to open up to them about my suicidal period, and it's very crucial because there's been a family ideation in the family, so it's a really big thing for me. And right now I'm planning to do it either tomorrow or on Monday, so basically around the new moon. And so I'm really happy that you shared that it was a perfect time to do such a thing, because it really, what you shared, Evia, was just resonated with what I intend to do with my parents. I had a great advice from a friend. He said perhaps you should write everything you would like to say. I mean, everything not literally to the word, but at least to set the intention and to really feel what you want to say instead of just projecting the whole thing at my parents, you know. So yeah, if you have any advice about that, I would be grateful. I'm Sagittarius, December 15th, but my birthday is in
Wow.
3 days. And interestingly, last year, actually the pandemic, well, it triggered things obviously and invited me to go deep in my perception of the world. But I took ayahuasca last year, just around the same time as now, literally. And so basically ayahuasca preceded, and my shift of perception due to ayahuasca and its consequences preceded exactly the pandemic by, let's say, 1 or 3 months, basically. So yeah, it was, it's interesting. Now I'm feel ready to step into my power, and yeah, looking forward to learning more about Aquarius era, basically the age of Aquarius. So, I'll let you know if it goes well with my parents and how they react. Just the last word is that it's going to be very intense because sharing emotions, we haven't done that for so long, you know. Even just kissing on cheeks is kind of something foreign to us now. So I mean, especially with COVID even now, but you know what I mean. So it's going to be intense, but I'll try to do my best to take the time and to give them the time as well to process that, because it's you know, I'm fine now, but for them it's going to be a big shock. Yeah.
We definitely have something to share about that. Thank you for sharing, David. It's amazing what you're trying to do. And we are now actually in the middle of the course about this particular issue, which is a 5-week course called Meet the Parents. So it's perfect timing.
So if there is one advice, on Monday there's a solar eclipse. Yeah. So it's a very powerful moment. I would suggest that you really write this thing during the solar eclipse, because what you want to do, you don't want to make your parents guilty for the rest of their lives. What you want to do is to get it out of your system. You want to express it. Yeah. And so during that solar eclipse is the perfect moment to get it out of yourself. Yeah. And you know, the poor guys, they might not even know how to react to it, and you don't know the damage that it can cause to them and the ripple effect. So you can slip that letter and they can read it in their own kind of timing, or you can be really gentle and carefully choose how you share it without the blame, because people that are very, very set in their realities, they might be damaged really by such a coming out. Yeah, and they will not know how to react about it. So be gentle.
It's important to understand that it's about you and not about them, and that you don't need to drag them there, because they are not anymore playing the function of your parents. They play the function of your parents until the age of 21, and in every shamanic culture, you know, you would by far already have done the transmutation ritual where you liberate them from that role of having to parent you, and they become another tribesman that you respect and love and are grateful for, you know, having nurtured you to the age of 18 or 21. So to engage in this level with them now you know, for them, it's not a good deal for them. It's good deal for you, but it's not at all good deal for them. They don't need to know about this.
They might not be ready to take so much change at once. Yeah.
So what Evia says is write it and maybe try to do it on your own. Or, you know, with the support group that can support you, because what's important, that energy is not theirs. The energy that of them that is inside of you, it doesn't belong to your parents. It belongs to you. It's part of your energetic system. So what you will be doing through this process is you will be taking those unprocessed parts of your energy, cleansing them literally through the cosmic shower of divine grace, and then reintegrating it back as the neutral energy that you can use for anything else. So physical parents don't have much role in that. So
okay, we'll not go in the whole course now.
I know, but I just have to explain that this is, you own this whole transmutation, and be very, very kind to your parents.
Yeah, the key here is to own the process. Whatever happened to you happened to you. It doesn't matter from whom it happened to you personally and specifically. So you take responsibility for that and liberate yourself in the best way you can think of. Yeah. So yeah, and the parents will get all of this on energetic level. Exactly.
Yes, Jill, of course.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing.
So you will liberate also them without projecting the guilt. You'll liberate them by liberating yourself.
Exactly. So think about it as an energetic process. Every word that you say, okay, here's one more tip about it. Every word that you ever say about anything takes this thing away from reality. Because we have to frame them in little words that don't really mean what they're supposed to mean. They mean something that point to the real meaning. So if you're going to talk about them, about something, if you have an example of it?
I don't know what you're talking about.
If you're going to talk about something with your parents, it's going to be very limiting. But if you do energetic work, the energy is not limited. Then they will exactly feel the exchange. No need for words. That's what I want to say.
So use this solar, it's for everyone, yeah? Use this solar eclipse as a particular moment of energetic shifts. It's very powerful because it happens, it's like the door opens, whatever you throw in will never come back. Door closes and we move on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I showed already. This is the closing of the door. This is what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And they close on the 21st.
Well, I'm speaking about the eclipse of Monday.
Yeah. Eclipse opens the door, and this meeting of Saturn and Jupiter on 21st closes the door.
Voila. So that's what we had for today.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll follow our own advice of dedicating the time for resetting the ideas and getting to the next level of thinking, next level of expression, next level of communicating, which includes the community in the world, in the world. We'll give ourselves and you the break. We've been
permitting ourselves as well for some time.
Well, we've been really deeply researching all aspects of consciousness, and we've been flooding you with our perspectives. So it's not like we have nothing else to say, but we will wrap it in some new level.
All of these sharings you have also on our YouTube channel, so you can go through these 33 episodes and watch them whenever you want.
Yeah. And we will emerge somewhere on the other side of the tunnel, where in mid-January or something. And in the meantime, I really feel Uwe's proposal to be a very good idea. So maybe we meet on the exact door, on the exact doorway, hold hands and jump in the portal all together. So it would be cool, and we see what happens from there. And in the meantime, get your last bits of skeletons out of cupboards,
for loving release.
throw them in the portal of Monday's
But
eclipse.
always will smile, guys. This is, like we are, it's amazing that we are living. So everything that we do in our lives is just amazing. Guys, this is like a big game that we are playing. We're not going to be in this body for a long time. So every little thing that seems like a problem, we can really look at it from the side and laugh and say, thank you for yet one more amazing experience. And let's move on. Bring universe, bring more of these my way. Let's see how I'm gonna surf these waves.
I'm not sure if I want more of what we had this year. I think I would rather settle with less. But fine.
Still, it was really, really beautiful year.
Yes. So let's take it one step at a time. Deal with what we can right now. Do the next right move and repeat. And see you when we see you.
We see you around the 21st for the ritual if you want to join us.
Stay safe.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody. Thank you.
Very, very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Ciao, beautifuls.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you,
Happy
everybody.
eclipsing.
Congratulations with your birthday.
Oh yes, thank you.
And happy birthdays all Sagittariuses.